Hello everyone, and welcome to our first daily game review video. This is the start of a series that'll be streaming a daily game review every single day. Basically, I will take one random game that is submitted and review it each day and then release it on YouTube. To submit your games, please check the description below and fill out the form and put a link for your game. Our first game here is between Meien 4Q and genkadori 5Q. So it's a 4Q 5Q game. I will be reviewing from White's perspective this game, and we'll see how it goes. I have not looked at this game yet, and I do not know the result. So I am just the same as you guys, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully it'll be a good game. So black starts in the bottom right corner. It's actually kind of unconventional to start in the bottom right. Normally it's the top right. Normally single digit queues know this, so it's interesting to see a bottom right corner move. So white prevents the cross fuseki. And so far so good. We have a common opening, and black chooses this instead of the Chinese opening. This is kind of interesting, but it's gonna kind of easily get countered by white, I think, around here. So the idea of this is to make a larger shimari than normal to get a little bit more territory and maybe work with the star point a little bit and extend along the side. It's not quite as fast as the Chinese opening, however it's still pretty solid and interesting. So white does stop the shimari's extension, and black extends here. This move is not conventional, since normally from the star point you want to jump over 5 either here or here. Since this is more normal to jump over 5 from a corner or approach a corner like so, you could say that this black move is kind of interesting and maybe a little off the mark of what would be conventional play. The reason you don't jump this far is because it becomes very easy for your opponent to invade later, like this, and now have a nice 2-space extension. Rather, if it was on the star point, they would only be able to make a 1-space extension. So I'm interested to see how black is going to follow this up. I don't think this is a terrible move, though, if black can get a follow-up here, because I have seen those kinds of shapes where it's an approach, where you approach here and then here, and this is to get a little bit more solid in this area and get a few more points, a little bit more solid, and then you could either pincer here or you could even still play this move, and the idea is to prevent white from getting this easy invasion here. However, if white gets a move around here, I'm not sure that I like this for black, here or here. So let's see what happens. White approaches here. Okay. This is interesting. Well, I don't really have much to say about this move. It's kind of just a common, normal approach move. Okay, this move. I don't think this is a good move. However, I have seen it played in some professional games in rare situations. I will admit I don't fully understand this move. However, the general idea is probably to build some influence in this direction, which, considering he has a 6-space extension, I think it's an interesting idea. However, white will take the corner and black will get influence, and then we'll see how far this stone is. So I'm going to wait to evaluate this move until after I see what the sequence is that follows. But normally this move is not recommended because it's a little difficult to play. This is definitely not the follow-up. I was thinking he was going to play something like this and try to get some influence this way and maybe seal the corner like this. This would be an interesting idea and maybe worth trying out. Or perhaps do an Atari here and then here. I thought this was an interesting idea, and maybe it would be a little bit difficult for white if you play like this. So I was thinking maybe white will play this way and take some corner territory, and black get some influence. I don't know the best sequence here because I don't know this move. I haven't studied it. However, I have seen it, so I know in rare situations it may be possible. So I wouldn't underestimate this move just yet. However, the idea should be to build influence in this direction. In the game, we see black playing this move, and this is just kind of silly because I don't understand what black's going for. So white makes an easy base. I'm wondering if white can just jump out and play like this. Then you can see these two black stones are in a weird position. But white decided to take the base approach, which is also fine. Normally you would connect here as black, and then white fixes, and then you can jump like this. I think this is going to lose black an unnecessary stone. This is the wrong direction. Black should go here, and then white extends. This, however, white can easily cut, which he does in the game. And now white has actually made some good eye shape, some good shape here. He's gotten out, he's broken out, cut black apart, and made this 6-space extension completely useless. So I think this is a huge success for white. Black's combination here is actually quite poor. So I think black made a huge mistake with the shoulder hit because he has no idea how to use it, and I don't think black really knows what he's doing. So you can see the combination by black is pretty much non-existent, and white successfully came in here and destroyed the shape here. So I think white's doing better here. Black tries to take a base, but white should be able to settle pretty easily. So white decided to cut here. I'm not sure how necessary this is. Maybe an extension here is fine, just to settle yourself. You could also possibly run it away. You can get strength with an attachment, or maybe you can run away with a cap. Basically something to help this group. I don't think this move helps this group that much, and since black's already alive in the corner, this actually encourages black to jump here, which hurts this white group. So I think the S5 for P7 exchange is good for black, so I think the S5 move is unnecessary. Black plays this way instead though. I am assuming black's worried about this type of move, but since white is not alive, I think black should be more aggressive. I might even consider this move, because this group's not alive, it's weak, so you should put pressure on this group and attack it. This is too defensive. So white lives, and we can see that still white is good in this position because these two stones are doing nothing, black's corner is very small, and this shape's kind of weird, but more or less okay. And since this was black's position, white lived in here very easily and very nicely. Okay, so black defends here. Maybe a little bit slow. I think I would probably fix here and then go and play the rest of the game. I think the bottom side's uninteresting now because black has an open skirt thanks to M2, which means white is pretty much under it. There's going to be no territory here. Neither player can really make territory here. There's not much influence thanks to this C10 stone, so I would go ahead and play on the rest of the board. So I think this move's a little bit slow. And white continues the defense. Not too bad. I always tell my students to defend themselves before playing anything else. So if white is worried that black has a severe attack here, then this is a fine defense. It also makes sure that black doesn't get an influence in this area in Sente by surrounding white or attacking white in any way. So I think this move's fine. Black again playing another small move on the bottom side. White could easily play here, and there's no Moyo, which makes this move pointless, and white got points. White also has this move to threaten the base of this side, and there's still the most open side, so I think this move is quite small. Because it's kind of saying center before the three open sides, and he's trying to attack a group that's already alive. So I would say this move is really small. White does Tanuki and prevents the influence. This is completely fine. I kind of want to play the most open side up here first, but perhaps he's worried that this is going to be too big for black. But in my personal opinion, I think white's position is bigger than black's position, so I think it's worth it to play this way. However, this move is not a bad move because it also cancels black influence while also expanding your position. It makes m6 look really slow, so I think it's perfectly reasonable to play this way. I do, however, think the q16 stone is in a questionable position right now, so we'll see if black takes advantage of that. Black again, trying to get some influence here. Again, this is really small and really slow. White does Tanuki, and white does get the big move now. So white is clearly leading on this board. Finally, black plays a big move. So black actually wasted 2 moves in the center here and not getting that much. Perhaps black maybe thinks he got 10 points, but honestly, white could easily come in right here, reduce a little bit, and even play on the line of the influence and take away all the points. There's no way to kill the stone. Maybe if black gets some thickness here, this won't be as easy, and white may have to just reduce. However, after just reducing like this, you can see black only got 10 points, and white easily gets more than that in influence. So this position is actually really small. So playing up here is the right idea, and white responds here. I think this is a good response since white doesn't really have a base yet, and this is quite a big corner. So just living here I think is good enough. Black extends. Black seems to like this shape. I think black fears the 3-space extension because of the white's move. I think he doesn't know the follow-ups to it and the variations, so I think he likes this move instead. However, this move still has a weakness here. So I wouldn't say it's completely safe, but we can see black favors this type of shape. Maybe. Yeah, so here and here. However, white has a nice move here to extend his corner and start threatening the base. So let's see what white plays. White decides to split here, and honestly I think this is the wrong idea. There's still an open side and kind of open corner to worry about here, and this influence isn't that big yet. So I think it's kind of small to play right here since there's not really an attack to happen and the influence is not the biggest area on the board yet. Black defends, white defends, and black takes Sente. This is a very nice move for black to get. I think this was the biggest move on the board. Black playing here and white playing here or here. So I think black is got a good exchange here. White played here, but black was able to get to the next big move. White plays a common follow-up, and black takes a 3-3. This is quite a common position. I think the 3-3 here should be okay. This is not the move. The move is actually here. The reason for that is after white Atari's here and white goes and plays another move, black has an endgame follow-up of here. And this is much more valuable than if it was like this and black plays here, because now when white plays here, black needs to defend like this. However, if you compare it to this position and white plays here, black has some more endgame follow-ups plus another stone. So it's a bit more valuable for black to play the tiger's mouth here rather than connect here. This is a couple points endgame, so I think it's quite important for you to remember this. There's no reason not to play this tiger's mouth. So white decides to invade here. I think it's a little bit better to invade here since the follow-up underneath here is much more better than any follow-up over here. So I think the proper invasion should be around this area. Is it time to invade? So white says, okay, I'm fine everywhere. Now where's my opponent weak? Where is his opening? And he says it's up top. So okay, I can agree with that. The top area is still quite big and invasion might be pretty powerful. I may even consider playing the 4th line here and playing something like this. This would be an interesting variation to build an influence here, but perhaps white didn't like this idea due to the black stones in the center, which don't gain much but also prevent white from getting a lot of influence. However, if you can somehow manage to get an influence here, then perhaps a follow-up later around this area might become pretty big. But since black might be able to cancel it out with a move like this, or just a capping move here, white may think the influence is not worth it, which is a fine idea. So white decided to invade more deeply, which I think this might have a little bit easier time, and it's also more pressure against these two stones. So white invades here. Black plays this move. I'm assuming to defend this position. However, it forces white to go up, and it'll hurt these two stones, so I'm not a big fan of this move. He's already alive in the corner, so I don't think black needs to worry about too much. As black now, it's difficult to attack these two stones, so I may consider just living first, and when white defends, just go and reduce the influence. And from here, black did get a lot of good moves on top, so perhaps black is a little bit ahead, and black's controlling the flow. So I think this is good enough for black. So in the game, black decides to split. So this is a very aggressive strategy. I think he doesn't need to be this aggressive. However, it's going to be hard to say this is a bad strategy, since being aggressive here may get him control of the board. White playing a very nice sliding move here to take the base of these two stones and to get his own little base up here. It's a nice counterattack strategy to get his own shape and get some eye shape as well. Black defending his stones, and white now with a little bit of eye shape can either jump out or maybe try and get some forcing moves here. So white decides to jump out. I think this is a nice exchange for white before jumping out. It's a nice defense and also a nice little counterattack. Black jumping out to threaten this area as well as the weak group. White defends his points because I think he's worried that if he loses this area, he actually won't have enough points and territory to compete with black. So I think it's probably the right idea. However, he's going to have to deal with a very aggressive attack here. And now the influence might become a problem, because an influence in Sente is a good influence. However, these influence moves in Gote are not so good. But if black can get a cap move and start surrounding white in Sente, and then get some forcing moves over here, he'll build a nice influence in Sente. That is how you build a center, not playing these Gote moves. I think black was losing for a while until he got the F17 move. F17 was quite large, and I think these three stones didn't really gain anything, and black was able to get F17, which gave black back control of a little bit control of the game, and also caught him back in points. So black does cap. White decides to play this move. I'm not a fan of this move because white's not completely alive. And remember, you don't run with knight's move because there's cutting points. So it looks like black does decide to cut. And now white's in a lot of trouble. So because white ran with the knight's move with the weak group, white was able to get cut and black was able to attack this group very nicely. And now white's in a very difficult position. White decides to go here. I think white could choose to go here and still be fine. This kind of shape here is actually quite common. It's similar to the star point, approach, kick, Nobi shape, and if white ignores, black can actually play on the head. I'm not sure if you can picture that or not. But this is a common shape where there's two stones, and white tries to surround like this. So I think that this shape, white could go here. So black decides to Nobi here, so black wants the outside. White deciding to get some eye shape while he can. And black decides to play here. Black plays the empty triangle because black's worried about his shape here. Maybe he thinks this kind of ko for a dumpling is a little too risky, so he plays the empty triangle. I don't like empty triangles, but I think this one's okay here because it does hurt these two stones quite well, and it gives some good liberties. So I think it's a okay move. White still trying to live. I think white should play this way, and this is better for eye shape. Now there's actually one eye here, and white's completely alive. Here, maybe there's some stuff if black can get some forcing moves here, but it looks like it's enough to live. Just not as much as this move. So black, seeing that white's alive, decides to go on the aggressive over here. I think this is a bit overplay. Rather, I think black should defend his points here and get some center here. This is quite large. Killing these 2 stones off is pretty big, especially since white has support here, and if white starts jumping in, all of this will become dame and pretty much pointless for black since black lost the top side. So in exchange for white taking the top side, black needs to make something in the center. I mean, he got all of these stones in the center, he probably should get something out of it, and I think this move is the move he needs to do that. However, this is a little bit over aggressive in my opinion. We require careful reading here. So I want to play a move like this, but I'm not sure if this works or not. So if black plays here, there are some liberty issues in the corner. And it looks like those liberty issues are quite potent. And it looks like dead. Alright, so we cannot play this way. And if we play this way, black will come here. So I think we have to play a move like this. This type of clamp move will give us a connection under and a connection over. So I think white should play this type of move. Let's see how the game goes. So black actually tries to live in the corner. If this succeeds, it's actually a big loss for white. And I think it's going to be really difficult for white to win this game. So yeah, I think the Hane here was kind of devastating. I think he should have clamped. So white trying to take the life in the corner. I think I would probably play here first, because this is pretty much the vital point for making any type of eye shape for black. Black can go here. However, you can see in the corner it's much smaller than if black extended along the side. So white tries to go here, black comes back. White tries to take the eye shape in the corner, but now black's going to extend on the side. Black being a little bit over aggressive here. I think this is probably going to cost him the entire group if white can read carefully, because this is quite big, because this is not alive, right? And now black has to kill either this or this. There's no way this is going to run out of liberties before this group, so now he has to try to capture this. But if he goes here, white just extends here. And if he tries this around here, white can actually come out here. So I think if white plays this right, then black may die in this area. Black should have just kept extending. Perhaps he's worried about these points, but he just took all of white's territory. And now he can just jump out here. Or maybe even slide here. And now white has another weak group with maybe one eye. So white does play this way. Black plays this way to try and kill the white stones. White extends. Really? Really? But if you just go here... Oh, wow. What was he thinking? Is he worried that he's gonna die? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's eye versus no eye. I'm not sure of white's thinking here. Yeah, I don't know. So if white Hane's here, so if black just defends like this and white connects, it looks like black loses the capturing race, because if black goes here, Atari, there, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, 3, white plays first, right? Or just here. So black would have to connect here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, and white plays first. So this would die. So maybe black has to throw in. But now white may be able to connect. Atari, take, and it looks like black's gonna die. So white play or black plays. White plays. Black doesn't have a move. So I think black dies. I'm pretty sure this works for white. I may be misreading this because I tend to do that when I'm recording. I usually, when I'm recording, I always make a fool of myself. So I may be misreading this, but I'm pretty sure if white plays this correctly, this entire black group will die. But you cannot play this way, especially after you jumped. If you're going to do that, then from here you just you just can't do it. You have to invest in this. You have to take this. You have to read this carefully. But just giving it up, oh no, that's huge. It's a huge difference. So Meien losing the entire area, and I think it's nearly game over now, because that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. So he goes here trying to connect. Black cuts. I think black can just go here and be fine. No need to be fancy and give white the Hanes. But white nobis instead. But now white's going to get a lot of forcing moves, like so. You really don't want to give your opponent those forcing moves, because forcing moves equal shape. So you have to be careful about that. White playing here, but this is kind of overplay. Yeah, it just doesn't work. So white makes a 2-space extension, kind of going for a last-ditch effort. Black just taking the 2 stones, white making shape, and then tanuking. But you're not alive. You can't tanuki if you're not alive. You still have to fix. Reduce this area while fixing, at least. And you gotta try, because if this group dies, it's over, right? But a tanuki is definitely not the move. And black not attacking the group, so this is kind of interesting. Both players are ignoring this gigantic weak group on the board. I don't think anything could be bigger than this weak group. White finally getting back to defending this group. And you can see Genkadori just completely missed this chance to like severely attack this white group. Now he goes for it, and this is kind of a strange move. It looks like he's trying to cut the knights, but I think he's doing it wrong. Tries to get a move here, but white's already alive down here. So I don't think this is Sente. I don't think this is Sente at all. I think white can just live. And black should be ahead in territory, but let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 41, 51, 52, 53, 54. So black at 54. And no, 56, 58, 60. Black's at 60 points of territory. White at 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, maybe 40 points. So black is ahead by 20 points of territory. So yeah, after the right exchange, it's pretty much game over. White, however, responding and missing his chance to just live. Even if he lives, I think black's got it, because the right side was just too devastating. White making shape, black fixing, white trying to live, And at this point, I think this is all just semantics, because it's not a big deal if this lives or not, because black's so far ahead on territory. Black trying his best to cut this group, though, and gain some profit. This is not the way to defend, because there's still a cut. Unless you can live, so maybe you can live. Normally you would defend this way. He's worried about something here, but I think this is fine. Just oh, I see. He's worried about this exchange. So there's no way to connect even here, huh? Go here. But then black just cuts. So yeah, white missed the chance earlier to connect. Actually, white could just live here. Then black goes here, white goes here, black goes here, white goes here. Maybe black goes here, white goes here, black goes here, white goes here. Yeah, I think white is perfectly fine if he just lives. So back to the game, we see this variation. Black peeps. I think a peep is unnecessary. But making a ton of peeps now. I thought he was going for the kill. Yeah, so white can just connect. No, white can't connect. Maybe there's some I shape here. Hard to say. So maybe it's a little too much to try and kill white right now. Okay, so this is fine. I mean, as long as black just gets something and doesn't lose anything, then black's going to win because he's ahead by 20 points. He defends here. This is not the way to defend. I would defend like this. Keep your stuff connected. And maybe there's a Tsuji here later. But a lot of peeps going here. There's a lot of Aji here. Doesn't look like anything works immediately, but there's definitely a lot of Aji there. But yeah, black's so far ahead, I don't really think it matters. White trying his best to play some good Yosei. I think it's a he, I don't know, Meien. It could be a guy or a girl. Yep. This is overplay. It doesn't really do anything. Well, it didn't do anything. Just go here. Black plays here, you go here. Yeah, this doesn't work because that peep is definitely Sente. What about peep here first? This might be good enough. Does it work later? So if you peep here. No, okay, so it's not good here. It's not good here. White taking liberties. Black getting a nice endgame exchange. This is not a Tsuji. Sorry there. And then just force white to capture it. It's a few points. But there's no way this is gonna live. Yeah, you gotta do that eventually, I guess. That's an endgame move, and now just go on with the endgame. Which white does. Black still trying to... Okay, so black's just playing some good endgame. Okay. Thought he was still trying to kill for a second. Oh, that connection was actually quite valuable, right? Because if you play here and black fills all these liberties, that's 2 more points that white has to play. So that's like a 2-point connection, and all he got was 1 point. So I think that was a little bit mistake right there. There's a cut here. There's a free Tari there. So I think this moves maybe a point loss. But probably doesn't really matter at this point. Yep. Just basic in-game. And let's just see the result. Options, game info. And black won by 16.5. So it looks like white caught up a few points. So I think the 5 points were around this area, because I didn't count this area as points. So white get here. Oh, white also had Komi. I forgot about Komi. Yeah. So black getting a nice and easy victory. I think where white really messed up was the right side. White had a huge chance to kill the right side, and I think that's where the game was lost. White early on was actually doing quite well, and then he just let black get the F-17, and then black took control of the flow, and white couldn't really get it back, which was quite surprising. I think the invasion could have been a little bit better, and maybe that would have helped. However, black was able to attack this invasion quite nicely and get some profit. Then he kind of played over here a little bit, which I think was unnecessary, and nearly died. White messed up, and then black messed up, and then white messed up again. So this whole area was kind of questionable. But yeah, I think the game was lost over here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. And remember, if you want to submit your own games for a chance to get reviewed, please see the description below. And thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.